Yo, yo, yo! My God, feels good to be back in front of the camera. But today we're going to talk about the psychology of procrastination. Disclaimer, the information I'm about to give to you is based on my own experience, all right? And it's not necessarily coming from like pop culture or a specific book. It's just from my own understanding. And to give you an idea of, I guess, why I can even speak on this topic is because, take for example something like making videos every day, right? I think you can look at my channel and you can conclude that at the very least, right, with daily uploads, that I have some type of handle on procrastination, right? But I can also, if you look through my channel, my videos, you'll notice that I started making consistent daily videos like back in early May, but prior to that, I had taken like 3 months off. Okay, so let's go ahead and start there, right? From my own personal journey, procrastination. Okay, there's many different levels of procrastination. It could be, something as simple as like, I know I have to take the trash out today because it's trash day, or more big, like, I know I have a big project that's due in a week, right? And something I'm sure especially my students can relate to here is that, when the teacher says, all right, this project is due 2 months from now, your mind probably has two things going on in it. It's like, oh, there's a sense of relief, like, okay, I have time, right? I have time to get this done. And B, there's this sense of hope, like, all right, you know what? We're going to chip away at it intelligently, wisely. We're going to every day, small progressions. But what ends up happening for the classic procrastinator is they don't do any of that, right? They avoid, they procrastinate, and they wait until the urgency of the deadline is now then the thing pushing them to take action. All right. So in a sense, what procrastination is a force of fear or the urgency of some type of pain being the driver that finally kicks you in the butt, right? Whereas if you're 2 months away from a deadline, there's no urgency. It's like, there's no need to really take action. And technically speaking, you're right, there is no need. However, procrastination is also another word for being reactive, right? Taking action by being reactive, right? Reactive to a deadline, reactive to only having a week left, reactive to the fear of not having something to turn in, right? Whereas someone who schedules out a week by week, day by day action plan and actually follows through, what that person is doing is they are consciously, proactively doing something every day. Okay, and I know that probably sounds obvious, so let me dive a little deeper. So, one thing to look at for yourself, let's say you have, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, let's just say you have something that you need to do, right? Something that has a deadline, okay? And, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Let's say you're procrastinating, right? Ask yourself, remove the pressure of having to go take action and ask yourself, what meaning am I giving this task, right? What story in my head am I saying that has me procrastinate, right? So take, for example, just right now, I had to file for Medi-Cal insurance, okay? And I got a letter in the mail that said I had to fill out this form and mail it back. And I had been putting that off for 4 or 5 days now, maybe even longer. And the reason why I was putting it off is because in my head, two things. One, the due date was further down the line, right? So there was no urgency. And two, the story I had in my head is that it's going to take up time and effort, and I don't really want to put in that time and effort right now because I don't have to, right? And then The longer we put something off, the bigger and more dramatic that story becomes, right? Because it's like there's no momentum in taking action. If anything, there's momentum in putting it off, right? So the more and more you put something off, the more and more momentum you have to not do it, because that's essentially what you're training yourself to do. It's like, oh, there's this thing to do, and let's put it off the next day. Oh, there's this thing to do, and let's put it off. And so the only time a procrastinator takes fucking action is, oh, fuck, the deadline's tomorrow. We can't put it off. We gotta do it now, right? And so if you want to be someone who goes from waiting till the last second to do something into someone who can do things when they say they're going to do things, someone who can put X, Y, Z on a schedule and actually do it, first of all, you got to train yourself to take action that way. And, you know, once you have momentum in taking action, it gets a lot easier. But consider that in a dramatic way, in order for you to create the momentum of taking action and no longer procrastinating, is kind of similar to someone who is afraid to jump off a 10-foot diving board into a pool. It's like you're afraid, right? Your fight or flight response kicks in, right? Your survival mechanisms kick in. Your body starts to get anxiety, starts to get nervousness, starts to get uncomfortable, stressed out over this idea that taking action is going to hurt, right? And similar with the diving board, your body's like, no, it's too scary. No, I'm going to die. When in reality, it's fucking water, right? That you're literally not going to die. But for some people who are in the momentum of procrastinating, they've psyched themselves out into believing that taking action is going to be painful, when really it's not, right? Have you ever had the experience of, like, for example, take exercising, right? It's like, every time I work out, I always feel good and I never regret it. Yet in the morning when it's time to go, the thing right in front of our face is like, oh, I don't want to go, right? I want to put this off, right? The urgency to go is not there. And so you can do a couple things, practically speaking. You can create urgency, and that's kind of the name of the game here, guys. If you don't want to be a procrastinator, you have to be someone who can generate action. You need to leverage yourself to take action. And so, that's why for some people, when they put money on the line to do an exercise program, that helps them because there's an emotional leverage to take action, right? There's something driving them to take action. Whereas for the procrastinator, what drives them to take action is some type of urgency caused by a deadline, or some type of fear, or some type of pain that says not doing it is actually more painful than doing it. And so I guess at the core of it, if you want to stop procrastinating, one possible strategy is to leverage your emotions by creating pain around procrastinating, right? And so for me, not to flex, but I definitely am someone who has flipped that switch from being a procrastinator, putting things off, avoiding, wanting to escape, watch Netflix, wanting to escape and smoke, wanting to escape and play video games, to someone who prioritizes taking action. And when you gain momentum, you gain experience in taking action and generating action earlier than later, you come to realize that there's actually more pleasure in doing things now. And there's more pain associated with doing them later. Because what happens is we have something we need to do, but we put it off and numb ourselves by avoiding and escaping and doing something else. But then that pain of that pain of taking action comes to our head, but instead of addressing that pain now, which would get rid of that pain now, we numb, we avoid so that we don't feel the pain. But the actual solution to getting rid of that over looming pain of procrastination and having to get something done is actually getting it done. It's so stupid, right? So dumb, all right? But what I want you to know is that it's normal to avoid, right? It's normal to procrastinate. It takes some sense of personal awareness and, you know, a sense of generating action in order to not procrastinate, because it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's either going to happen because the urgency of the deadline is upon you, or it's going to happen because you fucking make it happen and you stop avoiding the feeling and you realize that, oh, the way to solve this feeling of anxiety over a task is to actually fucking take action. I know. It's not what you wanted to hear. Oh, the way to not be a procrastinator is to be an action taker. Ah, Jesus, right? But it's all good. All good. I hope this video was helpful. This was specifically made for one of our fellow subscribers here in the community. Shouts out to you. You know who you are. But yeah, happy Thursday. We are officially halfway through 2020. Make a mid-year resolution if you can. I know that the classic narrative around 2020 right now is that it's the worst year of all fucking time. But shit, make it the best second half you've ever had. Hey, all right, all good. COVID doesn't prevent you from doing 100 push-ups a day. COVID doesn't prevent you from being hydrated. COVID doesn't prevent you from eating a nutritious a meal plan. COVID doesn't stop you from taking a walk, right? COVID doesn't stop you from journaling. Protests don't stop you from reflecting, growing, right? So shit, learning, right? Stop being a victim to 2020. Generate fucking action and make shit happen, yo. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.